Hey guys, I'm Randy Younger, and this is another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. And I want to welcome my two wonderful guests tonight. We have back from a very long hiatus, Mr. Robin Channing, magician extraordinaire. How are you, sir?
Magician and mentalist, a mind bender, as I like to call myself now. And it's more of a sabbatical from your show, actually, because life does take a turn, and
yes,
so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that you've returned to Under the Radar. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's nice to see your new place.
Oh, thank you.
I'm rather complimentary about it, and I can't help but compliment the place, and especially all the movie paraphernalia that you got going on, especially in the background over there.
Of course.
I wasn't here last time I was here.
Fun fact, that was the very first VHS tape I ever bought, by the way, the original Batman.
One of my first two.
And
the Diet Coke commercial at the beginning, my favorite.
I wore out that video cassette. Yep. Oh, good grief.
That and Batman Returns. And also with me again, Forrest, Bennett. Welcome back, sir.
Randy, glad to be back, and with a new set piece.
Thank you. Glad you guys enjoy it. And I'm glad everyone watching now can enjoy it too. So this is a lot of fun. So guys, especially Robin, it has been a while. I'm curious, what have you been watching lately?
Well, I tend towards watching anime like a lot. And if I were to name any specific titles, I believe one of my favorites this particular season, well, actually last season, the one that was one of my absolute favorites was, I think the title is translated How a Realist Hero Saves the Country. I think that's the loose English interpretation. But there's this one that I'm watching now. It's another isekai. It's how the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated into an aristocrat of a new world. The title is loosely like that, and how that is one of those long titles that basically summarizes the plot.
Sounds a little like the Count of Monte Cristo. No
way.
The whole revenge thing through him.
It's not a revenge thing. It's just that he was an assassin in his former life on Earth, and he was an old man. But then he was assassinated himself, ironically enough, and he was chosen by the goddess of worlds to be reincarnated as an aristocrat in a new fantasy world where magic is the thing. But ironically enough, it's for an assassination job. He has to assassinate that world's hero only after that hero defeats the demon lord of that world, because once the hero does so, within 2 years' time after that, that hero becomes so full of his own power and his own arrogance that he himself destroys the world within 2 years' time after defeating the demon lord. Therefore, it's this assassin's job to assassinate the hero within that time frame. And as a reincarnated hero, he has to basically grow himself up from an infant baby to a competent enough assassin by 18 years of age. And his aristocrat family is a family of assassins anyway. So it's in its early stages, but this is like one of the standout shows for me this season.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, I gotta get into more anime. I'll be honest with you.
And same. I don't watch a lot of it. I don't watch a lot of anime myself. I do love Akira though.
Classic.
Good.
Very classic.
And now, Robin, I know you were at New York Comic Con.
Oh yes.
Very good. You weren't there first.
I was not.
You missed it. There was some good anime stuff. There was a Funimation had a booth.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun. But we're actually going to be talking about Comic-Con in another episode. So save that energy, that Comic-Con energy for that. But yeah, Forrest, what have you been watching these days? I'm curious.
Usually around this time of year, I tend to watch nothing but horror. And the only times I don't watch horror during October is if it's like a must see, like No Time to Die. Which I did catch this on opening weekend.
Yeah, it's pretty good. A little long, but I liked it a lot.
And mostly it's like apart from like No Time to Die and the movies that we're going to be talking about tonight, it's mostly been horror. I did catch Halloween, the original Halloween in theaters for the 10th time.
Wow.
I have seen it in theaters more than any other movie.
One of which with me, I remember.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun. That was last fall.
And I also caught and the following day I caught Halloween Kills on.
Nice.
Of course, since you are basically a horror fanatic and addict and so on and so forth, you're a horror enthusiast.
I mean, I'm not just a horror enthusiast. I produce horror.
And you produce horror. Yeah, that's your life.
Yeah.
there are a few horror anime titles that I do recommend. One of which
I've
is
heard.
Another. Oh my goodness, that one.
Do you know what platform that's on?
You can find it. I recently purchased it on iTunes.
Okay.
So there's some really good, solid horror anime that is out there.
Yeah.
You should look into that.
All right. And then also I did catch, and then also I was in LA
Yes.
recently.
Yes.
And while I was there, I went to Quentin Tarantino's New Beverly Cinema
Cool.
and caught a double feature of House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts,
Wow.
which
Okay.
was a lot of fun.
How was the theater itself?
It's small. It's small. There's only one screen,
Okay.
but they do not put up with phone usage.
Good. Good.
A lot of like unique snacks and drinks. There's a lot like foreign posters for popular movies.
Did they have milkshakes with alcohol, with bourbon?
No, unfortunately they did not.
Okay, that would have been a cool thing.
And no Big Kahuna burgers either.
Oh, damn it. Now I want a burger. Thank you, Forrest. And as for me, when I do have free time, when it's not related to the show, I've basically been watching reruns of Mad About You. It's a very wholesome, very quirky sitcom from the 90s. It kind of shares the same universe as Friends and Seinfeld. So
all shows about white people living in apartments here in New York.
Exactly. How can I relate, right? So, but yeah, Mad About You, I love it. It's on Prime Video. So if you're bored, check it out. If you want some really neurotic Paul Reiser-ness, check it out as well. So okay, guys.
I would say for me, a break from Paul Reiser that isn't Aliens.
Exactly. And and he hosted SNL in the I think mid 90s, and they had a skit called Mad About You Alien, where he's in bed with an alien with a xenomorph. It's very weird.
I watch a lot of SNL reruns. I don't think I ever saw that one.
It was like 94, 95, I want to say. But I love Paul Reiser. He's great.
Yeah.
So, and also, random Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes. I love Larry David. I'm excited for the new season. So we'll see how that turns out. All right, guys. So we have a big show in terms of movie reviews. Let's get into the first movie. We've got Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the sequel to the 2018 Marvel Antihero. Yeah.
Marvel Sony co-production.
Yeah, it's a weird, there's like a weird muddy area there.
Yeah, I think this is also, I don't know I don't want to say anything about spoiling it, but I think.
Yeah, please, no spoilers, guys, no spoilers.
Just watch the movie.
Yeah.
That's the only way to truly be spoiler free in a good way.
So, well, I do want to talk about the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom.
Oh, that was gold.
I feel like that's the best part. The best part of both movies.
It's sort of like a love-hate relationship. They're like a big,
odd couple.
They're a bickering married couple, pretty much. And I would have just liked to have seen 2 hours of that.
Yeah, or just make it a TV series.
Yeah, it's kind of like a WandaVision vibe.
Yeah.
But instead, we get that. It's pretty much the first half hour of that. Then we get kind of this, I don't want to say generic, but it is kind of generic.
Yeah.
We've got Woody Harrelson, who plays this psychopathic serial killer who basically gets infected by Venom's spawn, Carnage.
By Venom, by Brock's symbiote
Right.
affected blood.
Right. And then the second half of the movie is basically Venom and Carnage kind of just going at it. The CGI is rampant. It's very intense. There's a lot going on. Yeah. I know Robin doesn't like the CG when I talk about CGI, but Robin, I know you're passionate about the film. You both are. But Robin, what did you think of Venom 2?
Well, having read the comics from the 1990s, from when Carnage first came out in the comics, and Spider-Man and Venom had to put aside their mortal adversariness to combat a greater evil,
Maximum Carnage,
and then Maximum Carnage. I read through that. I helped a friend complete his Maximum Carnage collection of all 12 comics.
Did you ever play the Super Nintendo game with the red cartridge?
I remember that actually. I think my friend had that.
I know I didn't, unfortunately. But yeah, I know quite a bit about the symbiotes, about how they reproduce. Dare I say it, asexually? One parent. And the movie kind of glossed over that. They just said, okay, it just spawned out a little red blob that became its own symbiote. They just more or less implicitly shown it, but in the comics they really spelled it out. They reproduce asexually, only one parent, and therefore they don't give a crap about the spawn afterwards.
Right.
That's why in the comics Venom didn't bother telling Eddie Brock that it had an offspring. And in
it's
the
kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Like that's a very important detail to leave out.
Well, they just displayed it visually in the movie. It's like
Right.
a little red blob.
I mean, but then again, this version of Venom is kind of already starting off without the animosity towards Spider-Man,
Mhm.
which is what kind of made Venom Venom.
Right. So I'm just surprised they succeeded as well as they did without the Spider-Man integrated backstory.
Right.
You know.
However, I did actually revisit Spider-Man 3 last night, and I know everybody hates that.
Not
movie.
everybody.
I would put it
Clearly
for me-
not everybody. The fact that you are kind enough to bring it up.
for me, it used to be my least favorite of the franchise, but then Amazing Spider-Man 2 happened.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you that the use of Venom in Spider-Man 3 wasn't that terrible. I
It
kind of
was-
like the way they pulled it
It
off.
was
It was-
forced.
It
to
was
me.
also comic book accurate for the most part.
I will give it that.
Yeah. What did you guys like? I loved Hardy in this. I loved him in the first one.
Yes, I think he's
More
been
so in the second one.
Yeah, more so. Overall, I think this was a big improvement on the first one.
And I think in this he contributed to the story, if I'm not mistaken. So he had more input.
Mhm.
And Venom had a lot more dialogue this time around, which I
Yes.
was grateful for. So
Yeah, it's funny. Very
because
funny.
he really springboarded so well from the first one into the second one,
Yeah.
and just the character dynamic between Eddie Brock and Venom was much more pronounced. It was
Right.
much more propelled
Yeah,
forward.
I think now that they got
Spectacular.
now that they got the origin out of the way, they're able to do more of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're giving Venom more of a personality in this
Mhm.
one. Like
Yeah, a lot
he's
more
an
of a
actual character here.
yeah. He's hilarious as
He's
a character.
so
Yes.
good, so
for,
funny.
for a flesh-eating, brain-eating symbiote, he is hilarious.
Yeah.
Venom is.
He's great. I love it.
I mean, he's one of my top 5 Marvel characters. So
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's pretty good.
and I'm finally glad that there's finally a Venom movie that for me is at least watchable.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, back to Spider-Man 3, the Venom stuff, loved it.
Mhm.
I'm not a huge fan of Topher Grace, so I think Tom Hardy is a step up from that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
But, I think that, and also I really wanted to love Woody Harrelson in this. I think he was kind of subdued in terms of,
Yeah.
Given the fact that Woody Harrelson was in Natural Born Killers,
right.
he can play serial killers really
Absolutely,
well.
Yeah. Well, that was a slightly different type of psychopath. If there is,
But you know what?
Yes.
Cletus Cassidy,
Similar.
Carnage, as a character,
Right.
is a psychopathic killer,
He
a
is-
serial killer.
he is inspired by Natural Born Killers. I think that's why Harrelson chose the role. He wanted,
Or was picked for the
Yeah.
picked
Or was
for the-
cast for the role and so
Right.
forth.
All the hairpiece
Yeah.
is not.
I was
all that hairpiece
looking
is not
for-
fooling anybody. I'm sorry.
well, he had a different wig in the end of the first Venom.
Yeah.
right?
I liked the wig that he had at the end of the first Venom because that was, again, comic book accurate. Curly red hair. That was Cletus Cassidy
Yeah.
from the comics. I
Yeah.
wanted to see more of that.
Yeah.
And I get that they wanted to cram as much as possible to a wider audience for.
I feel like
Venom.
I feel like if you're gonna have Carnage, it's got to be R. It's got to be R.
I'm thinking it should be NC-17.
Well, they wanted this to be R rated,
of course.
but because of the first movie was PG-13, did so well, they wanted to kind of like duplicate that success with a
Mhm.
PG-13 movie, get a wider audience.
I mean, if I were to make a comparison, it's like it's like teasing somebody with a ribeye steak, but you're serving tofu instead. Almost. If I can make so harsh, that might be too harsh an analogy.
But I'll
But-
tell you, I kind of do want to see this as an R-rated movie. Seeing those the heads bitten off, that's such vivid imagery right
And
there.
basically, given what Cletus Cassidy with the Carnage symbiote is capable of,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Like he's here. He's just mostly just like throwing around prison guards.
Mhm.
In the comics, he would have just
like
massacred them.
he'd basically be like a human version of a paper shredder.
Yeah.
pretty much.
I mean, he would be really bloody.
Or I should say human alien paper shredder.
Yeah, right.
Human alien hybrid paper
Yeah,
shredder.
human shredder, prisoner shredder.
That's the third movie.
Yeah, right.
there. I also wanted to mention, guys, Andy Serkis actually directed this. Which
Of
was
course,
very
I
interesting.
thought he did a really good job at
Yeah.
Circus.
They picked him. I think he was chosen because of his
Special effects work.
Yeah, his CGI, his motion capture experience.
Mhm.
I mean,
So-
which he has a lot of. I mean, having worked on Lord of the Rings, among many others, you know.
Planet of the Apes.
I'm surprised he wasn't Carnage himself. So
Right.
I think they picked a really good director for this.
Mhm.
I wanted to see more Michelle Williams because she's a very good actress, very beautiful.
Well, I liked the scenes that she was in Venom Let There Be Carnage. I'll be honest. I don't want to spoil anything, but the certain key scenes that she was in were good.
Yeah,
Yes.
They were good.
yeah, definitely.
You know.
But yeah, I think it's a quality film through and through.
Mhm.
I definitely want to see what they're going to do next.
Mhm.
Hint, hint.
Right.
and here's the thing, Venom, I think, is for anybody who's been a fan of the Venom character from the comics and for the new fans of the new movie franchise.
Right.
So between those two
Yeah.
audiences, I think the movie delivers sufficiently well.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. It's a happy medium for
And-
the two audiences.
And guys, before we move on to the next film, I just wanted to just clear up what is the deal now with Sony and Marvel and 20th Century Fox? What is
Or I mean, so you mean
the whole Spider-Man?
I think it's Marvel and Sony because Fox has already been swallowed up by the mouse. So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just crazy. It's all
Yeah.
business and
Yeah.
But I heard some. I don't know if it's true or not, but I guess Tom Holland said that No Way Home is going to be the last solo Spidey movie in the MCU.
Wow.
That it's the end of a trilogy. I've
Yeah.
heard those rumors
And
too.
they'll reboot it or revamp it again.
Or you know what? Even if they do bring him back, because now they've opened the floodgates. I mean, there is a multiverse officially in the MCU.
Yes,
All right,
Yeah.
we know that now.
from
I mean,
from Doctor Strange. and
Right.
yeah, and it was teased upon in the second Spider-Man movie.
Far From Home.
Far From Home. Thank
yeah.
you. And so, even though it was a faux multiverse, it was teased upon as a multiverse. So they
Right.
set the stage. Now we have a real multiverse.
These multiverses, they make
So-
my head hurt.
Both them
sometimes.
and DC
Yeah.
are going that route.
There's
But now-
they're zigzagging all over the
But
place.
now it's the ultimate skeleton key, ultimate Deus Ex Machina tool, if you will, to combine universes.
Yeah.
So there's
Mhm.
no such thing as no more continuity anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, we're getting Doc Ock, we're getting Green
Goblin
Goblin,
from
Yeah.
two different. We're getting Electro.
we're getting Electro.
Right.
Okay,
God
so
awful
the floodgates
sequel.
are open.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So I'm glad that comic book based movies are taking this
Risk,
awesome
yeah.
new
Yes.
turn,
Yeah.
this level of extended reality.
Where it makes pretty much anything possible.
Yeah,
which is a
that's
lot of
exciting.
fun.
That is exciting.
Giving giving certain versions of these characters new life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I didn't expect to see Doc Ock again.
No,
And here
well,
we are.
not just any Doc Ock, but Alfred
Alfred Molina's
Yeah,
Doc
yeah.
Ock. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, usually these characters are dead and buried in the annals of cinema history, but
Yeah.
then thanks to the MCU and this new cinematic device,
Yeah.
Mhm.
this can now run amok. We get to see Alfred Molina's Doc Ock again.
Well, it's not just a cinematic device, it's a comic book. It's a
Yeah.
literary
Literary
device.
device, yeah.
Literary device, yeah, but now it's
Yeah.
finally made
Yes.
given cinematic life,
Yeah.
which is exciting.
I mean, we're getting freaking Michael Keaton back
Back
in
as
the
Batman.
cape and cowl. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
alone is cool.
Yeah. Oh, and guys, let's talk a little bit about while we're on the topic, DC fandom. Did you check out some of the new trailers? Forrest?
I've only seen Flash.
Yeah.
Which just gave me chills just hearing Keaton's voice and seeing Wayne Manor in the Batcave again.
Yeah. And Danny Elfman's subtle score.
Yes.
Yep.
So that, and also I did see, and also the Batman trailer.
Yep. That
I
was
saw that. I
was good.
really like that. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm in love with the casting decisions
Yes.
here. We got Colin Farrell as Oswald
as the
Cobblepot.
Penguin.
Yeah. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman.
Jeffrey
Wright
as Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, it's great casting.
And I like Robert Pattinson so far of what I've seen of him as Bruce Wayne / Batman.
Yeah.
I like what I'm seeing.
The man can act. He's not just a vampire that
Sparkly
I would say
vampire,
once I saw the
Yeah.
White House, I was sold on him.
Yep. He's
Once I
a few
saw
David Cronenberg films as well.
Once I-
I think Metropolis. No, Metropolitan or Metropolis. I forget.
Yeah, I forget.
Tenet.
Cosmo.
Tenet sold it for me was
Yes.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Tenet.
He should have been in that more. I think he had more of a supporting role.
Yeah, but that's what it was. It was
Yeah.
supporting role, but he was solid as a supporting
No,
role.
he's very good, and I think he's a good choice.
Mhm. I'm looking forward to to the Batman, and I also saw Black Adam, badass.
I didn't see that one yet, or the new Shazam.
I got to check out the new Shazam.
I do find, although in regards to the Batman, it's kind of funny how it's coming out 30 years after Batman Returns,
Right.
And 30 years later, we're seeing Batman taking on both Catwoman and the Penguin again.
That is very interesting. That you
Oh,
mentioned.
nice.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
also,
you're right.
And also, and also the same year we've got Keaton. Also we got 30 years later we got Keaton back as Batman.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of like maybe that's the
2022 is going to be an interesting year.
It's like the multiverse is just like it's happening in real life. It's like it's
Right.
weird.
And I don't know.
Weird,
And
very weird.
I think I told you about you, but have you been reading DC's Batman '89 series?
No, not yet. I know you and a few of our other friends have been collecting those. How is that? I haven't really. It extends the Burton universe, right?
Yes, it picks up where Batman where the first two Burton movies left off.
Cool.
This time it centers around two.
Well, no spoilers.
Well, I'll say it centers around Two-Face this time.
Okay, yeah. Harvey Dent played by Billy D.
As
Williams.
Billy D. Williams, and then Robin with as inspired by Marlon Wayans.
Oh, cool.
Because he was originally slated to play Robin in Batman Returns.
I know that.
Interesting.
I have a friend, a fellow Ghostbuster, who's also a Batman cosplayer, and he has been Robin, the Chris O'Donnell suit.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
But this is basically what a third Burton Batman movie would have been like. Or at least the closest we'll ever get to a third Burton Batman movie. So I would say, like,
yeah,
get all three issues that are out.
Okay.
Put on some Danny Elfman.
I love it already.
Actually, no, I'd say put on some Danny Elfman, some Prince, some Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah.
and
Perfect. All right. So does it start with Catwoman looking up at the bat signal? At the end of Returns.
I mean, Catwoman is in this series, but it doesn't start there.
Oh, okay. I'm very tempted. It's on my to-do list. I got to pick up these books.
Yeah, and also read Superman 78 because that's also the closest we'll ever get to a Richard Donner Superman.
Do they intersect at all, Batman and Superman?
Not yet, because right now these are both limited series. They're just exploring the ideas of what third movies under their original directors would have been like.
Okay.
But who knows? Maybe if they do well enough, they'll do a crossover.
I love it.
I hope they do it.
Me too. That would have been the dream, like beginning of the real Justice League.
Keaton and Reeve.
Yeah, in the early 90s.
In the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, it would have been great. All right, guys. So Venom, Let There Be Carnage is now out in theaters. So check that out if you're a fan of the character, if you're a fan of Marvel properties whatsoever. It's a fun movie, and again, I love Tom Hardy's interaction with Venom. I thought it was really funny, really fun.
Voiced by Tom Hardy himself.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Makes it even better.
You didn't know, dude?
I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Seriously, Randy? Yeah, Tom Hardy worked overtime in these movies.
It's crazy. Yeah, and he worked on the story too. Crazy. Okay. And guys, don't leave until the credits roll.
No.
Yeah, stay to the very end. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Enough said. No spoilers from that point on.
All right, guys. So now we're gonna switch gears completely and discuss an independent film. This one is I thought it was a well-made drama based on true events. The backdrop is the Oka Crisis, which was a land dispute in Canada in 1990
between the Mohawk tribe and the Quebec government.
Right. And there were 2 fatalities during this event, during this crisis. And in the middle of it all, we have I believe she's 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah, a teenage Mohawk girl.
Teenage Mohawk girl who's basically kind of discovering who she is. She likes boys now. She's kind of like she becomes friendly with a bully.
She has a rebellious phase along the way.
Yeah. It's basically a coming of age story. And it was a very strange event that had the backdrop of, but I thought it really worked.
Although from what I understand, the writer director Tracy Deer grew up, she grew up, because she's a member of the Mohawk tribe, and she grew up going through that whole
right. So it's a
conflict.
It's a very personal story. It's
Yes.
basically her life as this girl who's just navigating everything, and I thought it's got an interesting name. The lead actress, young girl, Kiwa Wentio Tarbell, or Kia Wentio, a Mohawk girl, and it's I think it's a quality film.
I agree.
It was a very interesting story, very unique story.
I think
very well.
I think it's nice to get to see that we're seeing, between this and Reservation Dogs, we're seeing starting to see more indigenous faces and voices in film that we haven't seen since Smoke Signals. And that was over 20 years ago.
That was a good one. I like that. But I thought it was a very strong film. Actually, it really resonated with me. But Mr.
And also
Mr.
this is because a lot of movies and TV shows are shot in Canada. But it's usually Canada doubling as somewhere else.
Okay.
Like this is one of the I think outside of David Cronenberg, this is one of the rare Canadian movies I've seen that actually acknowledges that takes place in Canada.
That's interesting insight. I like that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And I think we here in America have this stereotype of like Canada being like a very boring, very docile, friendly, polite country, and I kind of come to learn that they're not that they have their issues too.
Right, but we get like kind of a new kind of perspective on everything here. A new way of seeing Canada. So that's very interesting.
Something far beyond what South Park has shown so far. If I should.
Or Michael Moore.
Yeah. There you go. Michael
Moore. But Robin, I
have,
you have some thoughts.
Let's just put it this way. What I have are indirect compliments, maybe even implicit compliments. First of all, the performance were so strong that I hated them.
Really?
I hated the hell out of this movie because the territory that they went through dramatically with the family drama, the teenage tensions, and the stress and all that, I kind of went through my own versions of that growing up, and therefore I hated to sit through a movie that basically sort of recreated those experiments.
You kind of got PTSD, I guess.
Kind of a PTSD kind of thing, and I hated the hell out of the experience.
All right.
And I was mad at you for having me see this movie.
I mean,
I was so angry at you, Randy.
You could have watched the trailer before you agreed to it.
I could have, granted, but in a sense, that is really an implicit compliment and even an indirect compliment to the production, because the actors and actresses in question performed their scenes so well and recreated that drama so convincingly that I basically had a PTSD kind of moment with the drama that was on screen. So that's how strong their performances were.
But you're saying you have experience?
Not directly, not that well sped out, but just the overall feelings
in Canada.
No. But just the feelings that were involved.
Okay.
Right. Just the feelings.
It hit a little too close to home.
Way too close to home for me. Just the feelings that were being portrayed. They were portrayed that well, that convincingly, and that strongly.
But don't you think the purpose of any good film is to be honest and to really strike?
Yeah, sure. But at the same time, it needs its audience. And I was not the right audience for this movie, in all fairness.
No, that's fair.
All right. So you know what? That's why, in as much as I hated this movie, I will give credit where credit is due, and it deserves a lot of credit. It was well made, well done, well produced, well acted.
Right.
All right. I will give it that credit.
Oh, I'm surprised that you said that.
You shouldn't be, because
prior to the show, you had some very strong feelings.
Strong feelings against it. But like I said, I am willing to completely separate my feelings versus my thoughts.
Okay.
You see?
So subjectivity versus objectivity.
Right.
Okay.
Subjectively, I hated it. Objectively, I will compliment it.
Interesting.
So I guess this is going to be a mixed review,
Well, that's why I said right out the gate that this is an implicit compliment and an indirect compliment. See?
So would you recommend this movie to people?
And to anybody who's interested in the subject matter and the movie itself, to anybody who has a genuine interest. I didn't. I gave it a shot anyway. I hated it. But to anyone else who has an interest in the movie, go ahead.
I'd say see it.
Yeah, me too. I love, again, the backdrop is amazing. Like it's such a random random event to pick for a movie.
Or I feel like I think for us, here in the US,
Right.
as non-indigenous.
If we lived
people.
if we knew Canada more,
if we knew Canada, or
right.
if we were like in, if we had grown up like in an indigenous culture, we would probably have a lot. I think it would definitely
hit at home.
Maybe resonate more than what we saw.
Right. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Well, from an outsider perspective, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was
agreed.
Mm-hmm. Tracy Deer, she's a very talented filmmaker, and she has a great eye. I think the visual style was really good too. Kind of like there was like moments of like a shaky cam, which kind of had this like weird emotional effect on me. But again, acting is great.
And that sort of had an adverse effect on me because that just made the feelings that I did not want to experience all more potent.
The shaky cam didn't sit well with you?
Well, let's just say, like I said, it amplified the drama and the emotions that were being portrayed.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. All right, so guys, that's Beans, and you can check that out now. Actually,
use 2 fingers like this.
It'll be Beans. Actually, will be open. It'll open in theaters and on demand November 5th. Mm-hmm. So check that out if you're curious. If you're Canadian, all the better. You'll probably appreciate it.
Or if you have an interest in Canada's bullet point in history, go ahead.
Or the history, or like just seeing indigenous movies made about and by indigenous people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a love letter to basically underrepresented minorities and groups of people. So yeah, check that out. Okay, so that's Beans, guys. Beans. So we're just going to take a short commercial break, guys, but we'll be back with one more film review right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Randy Younger, Under the Radar, and we have one more movie to get through. And this one, Mr. Channing, sadly, you did not see.
I saw it opening week. I saw it opening weekend.
Okay, I saw this last night. It's called The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and it focuses on the life and times of Tammy Faye Baker and her husband Jim Baker, 2 TV evangelists in the 70s and 80s who basically their message was a message of hope and forgiveness and understanding for people. But there was a lot of controversy, especially from Jim's end, who had a lot of financial improprieties. He was a bit of a criminal. I think he was released from prison.
He did do time.
Yeah, he did do time for a while.
Misuse of church funds.
Right.
He had an affair with a secretary, Jessica Hahn,
and he paid her hush money to just not say anything.
And actually that's where I kind of became from. That's one area where I became familiar with these people. Was just because Jessica Hahn had appeared in a music video, in a Sam Kinison music video for Sam Kinison's cover of Wild Thing.
She was in a music. That's very funny. I think they definitely showed a clip of Sam Kinison talking about the Bakers
and
in one scene.
And also because Saturday Night Live. Actually, I think most people's idea of Jim and Tammy Faye Baker probably came from the Saturday Night Live church lady sketch.
Okay, yeah.
Because there was one episode where the church lady's talking to Jim and Tammy Faye as portrayed by Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks, with Jan Hooks got the mascara running down her face.
That's ridiculous. That I gotta go back. I gotta go on YouTube and check that one out.
Classic sketch.
Yeah, church lady. Isn't that special? And so we've got Jessica Chastain as Tammy Faye, who's really great in this. I love
She's
her.
a good actress, Jessica Chastain, and Andrew Garfield is a good actor as well.
Right.
But I gotta say though, Jessica Chastain really disappeared into this role. Like having I'm just familiar with Tammy Faye prior to watching this movie, so so she like really looked and sounded like exactly like Tammy Faye Baker.
I think she's going to give Jennifer Hudson a run for her money for the Oscar race, because Jennifer Hudson was amazing in Respect,
and I think
Chastain was great in this.
And I think this also deserves this definitely deserves some nominations for the makeup.
True. Yeah, towards the end they made her look a lot older, and it was very convincing. It was kind of scary.
And exactly like Tammy Faye, like it's not just like putting a ton of mascara on. Like they really.
Yes, it's the eyelashes, it's the fingernails, it's the whole persona.
Yes,
great, and she got it down to the voice too.
Yeah,
it's a really amazing performance. Robin, do you remember Tammy Faye Baker at all?
Very little.
Yeah, like same.
I know the name Tammy Faye. But very little.
Yeah, I pretty much knew her because she was because by the time I became familiar, she had become something of a pop culture figure.
Yeah,
like she would appear on TV. Like I remember she played Mimi. She had a recurring role as Mimi Bobek's mother on the Drew Carey show.
Okay.
Because both of them have all that garish makeup.
Yeah. So towards the end of her career, she kind of became like this almost like a cartoonish figure, like kind of like a very comical,
a caricature of herself.
Right.
Or I remember her she was on the second season of The Surreal Life, and I remember thinking it was so bizarre that out of all the people who got along in that house, it was her and Ron Jeremy that got along the best.
That is so odd.
Because
he represents the complete opposite of what she stands for.
Exactly.
It's because this religious woman, kind of a righteous woman, and she's friendly with like a
porn star,
and one of the most famous porn stars, if not,
or say infamous.
Also, a background actor in Ghostbusters.
Yes.
So that's good. But yeah, I love this movie. Yeah. I like the tone, especially. It was like very comedic, but at the same time it's dramatic.
Yes.
So it really had a great balance, and it was a great biography about Tammy Faye and Jim Baker, played by Andrew Garfield. So it was kind of cool seeing Venom, a Spider-Man type movie, and Andrew Garfield movie. So it's kind of hitting close to home.
Yeah, and not just them, not just those two,
orbiting each other, so to speak.
Yeah, not just also those two, but also Vincent D'Onofrio plays the Kingpin on Daredevil,
right?
And here he's Jerry Falwell, and he's another one who just disappears into his role in this one too.
He's fantastic. He's only got maybe like 5 or so minutes of screen time, but he chews up the scenery. He's fantastic in every scene that he's in.
Although I'm trying to think who I'd say was a better Jerry Falwell, Vincent D'Onofrio, or the actor I don't remember his name, but the actor who played him in The People versus Larry Flint.
Oh, another Harrelson film.
Yes, yep. Everything.
See, it's all connected for us.
And then we've got that whole multiverse thing.
This is a connected metaverse, basically.
This episode is a multiverse right now.
Orbiting commentary of interconnected metaverses. So.
Yes. I love it.
So what do we got here?
So Robin, would you check out The Eyes of Tammy Faye? Does it seem interesting to you?
Honestly, not really. But if I were to have an interest, then yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Cool. So let's see what we got here. All right. So The Eyes of Tammy Faye is now out in theaters. So check that out.
See it. Yeah. I definitely say see it.
It's a fun one. It would be a fun rental too, I think. Nice night at home. Check it out. All right, guys. So we're just gonna do some coming attractions for this week. What's coming up this Friday? We've got the new Edgar Wright drama horror mystery, Last Night in Soho.
I can't wait to see this one.
He's a fantastic filmmaker.
I love Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
I love Anya Taylor-Joy and Terrence Stamp.
Yep.
And also, as of course, horror, big horror guy. So
I mean, you gotta love Terrence Stamp from Superman 2, The Limey, others.
Bowfinger.
Yep. Yeah.
Phantom Menace.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Diana, and then Diana. We got Diana Rigg in one of her last roles.
I think it's her official last role. So wow, yeah, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's I love it. Drama, horror, mystery, very interesting. I would think it'd be more. I thought it was more of a film noir, but maybe it is. But
I thought it was horror.
Is it? Well, we're gonna find out. Edgar Wright, fantastic filmmaker, Shaun of the Dead, Baby Driver.
Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, what's the three the Cornetto trilogy.
Also the World's End.
Yep, that was the three movies that he did that were just really funny, really adventurous and exciting. Okay, so Robin, are you an Edgar Wright fan? Do you appreciate the man's work?
I don't know his work, I'm sorry to say.
Okay.
And sorry, Forrest, I'm not a horror fan. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We forgive you though. So that's Last Night in Soho. Definitely gonna check that out.
Although I did really like, for some weird reason, Freddy versus Jason.
I still remember the week when the blackout happened back in 2003. The first when the power came back on, the first thing I did was go over to Forest Hills and catch the first showing of Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, the Midway Theater here?
Yep.
Okay, a few blocks away. Cool.
So what do you got here?
We got Antlers.
More horror.
Yeah, a drama horror mystery. Starring Kerry Russell,
who I love.
Jesse Plemons is great too. He was great in Jungle Cruise and some other films.
Hey, Mannequin, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
She's married to.
I love that Mannequin back when the original.
She's married to, and Mannequin's married to Ed Harris, I believe.
Yes.
So, yeah, they've been around a while. All right, so that's Antlers, good title. My Hero Academia. This, I believe,
it's probably more up your alley.
This is
my god, yeah, it was. I saw the panel for that in here.
Nice. This is an anime, I believe, right?
Oh, absolutely it is. And
cool.
I saw the coming attractions for the English dub of World's Heroes Mission. Oh my god, and just the production that went into it, and also it was a simulcast with the crew in Japan for My Hero Academia. Boku no Hero Academia.
Is this a franchise? Is this?
It's a global thing now. It's just blown up.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, they've already aired, the anime has already aired season 5.
Okay.
And I think this is like the 3rd or 4th movie. I've lost track, or maybe 5th movie by now. So it's just blown up into this huge phenomenon. My Hero Academia.
All right.
You know.
So you'll be first in line to. Yeah.
Probably after it comes up, but I will eventually catch that.
All right, sounds good. Cool. Okay, so next up we've got A Mouthful of Air, which is a drama starring Amanda Seyfried, and it's Julie Davis writes best-selling children's books about unlocking your fears, but has yet to unlock her own. When her daughter is born, that trauma is brought to the fore, and with it, a crushing battle to survive. I mean, she's good. I like Amanda Seyfried. She was very good in Mank, which was one of my favorite movies last year. Very pretty, kind of like a young Michelle Pfeiffer, I'd say.
Long list here, dude.
Yeah, lots coming out this week. 13 minutes.
Wow, with a lot of, and that one's got a lot of names that I haven't seen or heard from in a long time.
Yeah, Amy Smart, Thora Birch,
Anne Heche.
Yeah. Amy Smart and Thora Birch were very popular in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I have not seen either one.
Same with Anne Heche. I haven't really. I mean, I think the last thing I saw her in was Cedar Rapids. That was a decade ago.
Yeah, she's popped up on random supporting roles over the years, but that is an action drama thriller, 13 minutes. Next up, The Souvenir Part 2. I didn't know there was a Part 1. And that is just a drama. Let's see what else we got here. Lastly, Planet Dune. I don't think there's any relation to the upcoming
I'm wondering if this is
Dune film.
It's starring Sean Young. I'm like, this has already got some red flags.
I'm like,
well, that's I copy and pasted her name specifically because she's the only name that was like recognizable. Yeah, it's like this B sci-fi movie that she's the star of.
Is this like one of those Asylum productions or something? Like they do all those mockbusters.
It looks pretty terrible just from the poster alone.
Because I got my ticket to see Dune. I can't wait for that. And then I see another movie with such a similar name.
I think they did that on purpose.
I think it sounds like a mockbuster.
Yeah.
Well said, mockbuster. I like
People
that.
will be like, "Oh, dude, that was amazing. Let me
It's like
see Planet
piggyback marketing
Dude."
because it's like, how else would it get this level of publicity?
Yeah.
If not for the timing.
Like something
Yeah.
I feel like it's something sci-fi would dump on like set onto a Saturday afternoon, on their Saturday afternoon lineup.
Probably.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the list of what's coming out this week. Robin, what did you say? Anything catch your eye? Anything?
Well, I already knew about the My
The
Hero
Hero
Academia
Academia.
World Heroes mission. I already knew about that. The rest, honestly, I'll pass.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fair enough.
Okay.
Forrest, anything you fancy?
Of these upcoming movies,
Yeah.
probably I would probably say Antlers and definitely Last Night in Soho
Yeah.
and Antlers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Because again, Edgar Wright, fantastic filmmaker. We shall see. And Anya
Yeah,
Taylor-Joy, she's blowing up too. She's like, was it Queen's Gambit?
Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, the show. She actually did a movie a couple of years back, one of Anton Yelkin's final films,
Right.
actually, Thoroughbreds. She was great in that too. And she's beautiful.
I loved her. I loved her in The Witch.
I missed The Witch. I didn't. God, I'm add that to the list. Aside from what's coming out this week, are there any other films that you guys are on your radar? Mr. Chairman?
Dune, obviously, and what Eternals, of course.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yes. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Did you see the new international trailer?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I heard that they played the whole movie at Comic-Con.
They did, and I wasn't there for that.
I didn't say. I know. I have a feeling.
Yeah, very
Alrighty.
disappointed. I was there the following Saturday, Sunday for our New York City Ghostbusters Slime Lab, which was a lot of fun, teaching kids.
You
how
were
to
hard
make
to find on Saturday.
but you found me. Eventually.
That was pure luck. And it wasn't even in the Ghostbusters room. It was just in some random hallway. That was just pure, synchronicity.
That was happenstance.
Happenstance. There you go.
Oh man, but yeah, really looking forward to the new film. Wish I was there for that was a Friday night at Comic-Con. But yeah, Robin, overall, how can you sum up Comic-Con this year? How was it? Because I know you're a diehard
Epic,
fan.
of course. I will say that with all subjectivity and objectivity out the window. This is Comic-Con, of course, and this was a much needed Comic-Con. All right, this was a Comic-Con
After 2 years.
It needed to happen, and it basically was an example to the rest of the not just the rest of the Comic-Con world, but the rest of the very large gatherings in public places world. That a big gathering can happen, that a lot of people will flock to it, and that the big companies that didn't show up at this missed out. And therefore, it's a wake-up call for them to show up at the future gatherings.
This felt like any other Comic-Con. Like there was like no pandemic. It felt like it didn't skip a beat.
Well, there were some major differences. One,
you saw the mask up. I saw the picture. That's from when I saw the pictures. And also, I saw that they had if you wanted to get pictures with celebrities, they had to have they were
plexiglass wall.
Yeah,
I know. I should know. I had a photo with Hayden Christensen. I had the plexiglass wall. We both had to be shoulder to shoulder with it.
Yeah, a friend of mine got a picture with George Takei, and they had a plexiglass wall between them.
Wow.
Yeah, George Takei. Yeah, and also John Cena and so on and so forth.
Right.
But fun fact, on the floor where the pro wrestlers and other people are, no plexiglass wall. You could actually be shoulder to shoulder, shake hands, and all that. Because I got photos with different wrestlers, like everybody from Orange Cassidy to Danhausen and Rob Van Dam, and I also got a photo with Timac, the Last Dragon.
Right, of course.
He's
always
man.
at these.
And that was my second time getting a photo with him.
Oh God, I love Last Dragon. I would love
Check out my Instagram.
I wish he had done. I wish he had a bigger career.
Well, you know what? I heard he did a lot of work outside of the movie industry as like fitness instructor kind of thing,
or like martial art. I'm guessing like martial arts,
fitness training. Kind
of thing, I feel like he should have had like Van Damme and Seagal's career.
Yeah. Well, by the way, so he does these conventions a lot, right? Autographs.
I heard that he told me he was recovering from a spinal injury of some kind.
Oh.
So he's been out of it for a while. You know, so I just told him, hey, I'm glad you're back. You know, I want to be you when I grow up. Otherwise, so he was a really great guy, Timac.
Nice.
So, but that aside, I was saying major differences. One, there was, the masks, the COVID masks in this case, which I bothered to not wear whenever the occasion presented itself. Right. And of course, the Javits Center has this enormous new wing. Did you guys check out the enormous new wing?
I mean, I have not been there since 2019. I was out of town.
I think I saw the outside of it.
You didn't step inside?
I don't think it all looks the same to me.
Oh my, Randy, jeez. It's a gigantic new building. It's like five stories.
I'll tell you, it looked like every other part of the building.
And that's where I believe the Ghostbusters Afterlife screening took place in the new Empire Theater. It was gigantic. Fun fact, on my Facebook, I posted 360 photos that I took of the Javits Center during New York Comic Con. And I took 360 photos of every major room that I could think of. A couple from the dealer room, the main hall, the main stage theater, the new Empire Theater, the new wing.
Yeah.
The new wing is gigantic, by the way. I mean, they could have housed an entire convention within just that. So that new wing is so huge, it eliminated the need for outsourcing events to like Hammerstein Ballroom and so on and so forth.
Right.
It was so huge they were able to self-contain Comic-Con.
Forrest, have you been to Comic-Con?
I've been a couple times.
Okay.
Got some, I mean, I got some autographs from some of my favorite art from some of my favorite artists and writers while I was there.
Cool. What would you say was the highlight, the best person that you encountered
at Comic-Con? Let's see, because I haven't didn't get a chance to really meet any like celebrities or anything. I meant the first time I went to Comic-Con, I found it hard to just get in and on a panel.
Yeah, that's the worst.
compared to San Diego.
Yeah.
Because I've done New York and I've done San Diego as far as Comic-Con.
Can you even compare? I've never been to San Diego.
They're different animals, I understand.
San Diego is like geek mecca.
I hear it's like a small city.
It's a small city with the biggest convention.
Right.
I was gonna go San Diego Comic-Con my first time back in 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen.
Right.
It's
on my bucket list.
But I would say as far as like New York, I would say probably meeting. I met Neil. Because I got my copy of Batman Tales of the Demon trade paperback, autographed by Neil Adams, and then I met Chris Claremont, who was like the most prolific X-Men writer ever. He autographed my original copy of Wolverine #1 from 1982, which I had found in my grandmother's basement.
Comic book gold.
And cool. And then also Jeff Loeb, who's one of my favorite Batman artists, he autographed my trade paperback copy of The Long Halloween.
Nice. Wow.
Whoa.
Some really good
Holy Grail stuff there.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Well, I had some Holy Grails at New Jersey HorrorCon a few weeks ago, about a month ago. Billy Zane signed my Titanic Blu-ray.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. I have a hard time pronouncing his name, but
Ke Kwan.
Thank you. He autographed my Indiana Jones collection Blu-ray, and also I had a Seinfeld coffee table book autographed by John O'Hurley, who was Jay Peterman.
Of course.
So those were fun. I love meeting these guys, and especially when they're very nice and like like they're on your level. It just makes things all the better.
Yeah, I think I remember going right before the pandemic. I went to the New Jersey Sideshow Market, which is kind of like a smaller offshoot of New Jersey HorrorCon.
Yeah,
I got to meet Diane Franklin.
From Better Off
Dead. She autographed my copy of that movie and The Last American Virgin.
I actually interviewed her a couple years ago.
She's really nice.
Yeah,
actually two autographs that I had. One, I had my badge autographed by Michael Uslan. All this talk about Batman.
Yes.
You talk about comic book gold. That man
he's
has
a legend,
serious
man.
connection. He's got platinum level collections.
He owns the film rights to Batman.
Of course,
he's owned it since like the late 70s.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of him, we got the '89 Batman.
And he wrote the book, The Boy Who Wrote Batman. Yep. That's recommended reading.
It's right there, guys.
The other epic autograph that I got. This is bragging rights. Stan Lee.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Actually, as long as we're doing like humble brags or like the big autograph, I would say for me a big one was Kevin Eastman, co-creator of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and owner of Heavy Metal Magazine.
That's cool.
He autographed my copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1,
Wow.
like the very first issue from 1984. And also he autographed a T-shirt of mine. And I asked him I asked him who his favorite turtle to write was. He said Raphael, who's my favorite. So that really made my day.
That's perfect. Perfect. For me, okay, my absolute the holiest grail is definitely my Batman DVD autographed by Mr. Danny Elfman. And I met him at the Museum of Moving Modern Art, over a decade ago or so. It was a Tim Burton exhibit there, and he was there for a special appearance, and that was amazing.
I think also, actually also Turtles related. I was at about a decade ago. I was at Sundance.
Boy Who Loved Batman. That's the name of the book. Boy Who Loved Batman.
Right.
Okay.
About a decade ago, I was at Sundance, and I met Kevin Clash, who was there to promote his Being Elmo documentary. And he autographed my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles DVD as himself and as Splinter, because he was the voice and puppeteer for that character.
Wow, I love it.
In the first two movies.
That's awesome. Robin, Holy Grail of
I just gave you mine. I mean, Stan Lee. And
sorry. I thought you had more.
I mean, I tend towards photo ops, so autographs are very rare for me. But I just blew my big guns right there.
That was it.
Yeah,
okay, never mind.
And Stan Lee is like the biggest gun I could possibly.
And then and actually, I'd say the biggest of the big. Well, I do have an autograph from him, but Mark Summers.
Oh yeah.
I think I've mentioned this to you before.
I think I liked that picture on Facebook recently. That's good. All right, guys. So we only have a few seconds left. Let's do some plugs. What's going on, Mr. Channing?
RobinChanning.com. That's my website. So whatever private events or corporate events that you would like, get in touch with me, basically. And I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook and all that. So yeah, basically that's it.
Fun stuff. Love it. Mr. Bennett?
Okay. Well, I recently went to LA. I hit up filming locations from Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street while I was there, which felt like a bucket list moment for me. Actually, it was a bucket list moment for me. And I'm also on a podcast. I'm also regularly appearing on a podcast called Inside Movies Galore. And when this episode airs, we will be covering Universal's Frankenstein for its 90th anniversary.
Oh wow. Cool. All right. I love it. I love the retro stuff. Always very nostalgic. As for me, Randy Unger, Under the Radar. If you want to see new episodes of this show, just tune in every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. You can also check out the show on cable TV channels FiOS 34, RCN 83, and Spectrum 56 and 1996. And feel free, as always, to go to the Under the Radar YouTube channel, subscribe and share, spread the word. And I want to thank my guests tonight. This is amazing, Mr. Robin Channing, Forrest Bennett. And you guys are welcome anytime you want. Thank you for tonight. Had a lot of fun. I'm Randy Unger. It's been Unger the Radar. We'll see you next time. Take care.